This is about a panel that was at PAX East. It was called You Game Like a Girl, Tales of Trolls and White Knights. Oh gosh, it was just so disjointed and unprofessional, and the comments were just everywhere, and it was weird. So this is gonna kind of reflect that, because it's just kind of everywhere and it's kind of weird. And okay, let's just introduce the characters, as you will. We have the moderator, who we're gonna call Mod, and then we have Try. I'm calling her Try because she was wearing a Triforce shirt. Apparently she's a burlesque dancer, nerdy burlesque. Then we have Pink, who has pink hair, hence the name. Apparently she also does burlesque. Then we have Cat. I'm calling her that because she had a Hunger Games Mockingjay pin on. The main character of those books was Katniss. She runs a blog, something about Mary Sue. And then we have Big. She's studying game design at college. So this will be discussion on what they're talking about, some highlights of what they were talking about, and some general what the fuck-uckery. My first two things I would like to point out is, well, one, that the moderator had a Mac computer, of course, and an iPhone too. And there was a lot of mic breathing. It was very hard to actually listen to this panel because they were just constantly puh into the mics. It didn't let up at all as the hour went by. It was an hour-long panel. It didn't let up. Okay, so the first topic, I think there's supposed to be four. First topic: game design and the way women are portrayed in it. In game design. In games, in it. First off, Big, she talks about the looks and the roles of women in video games is why she got into game design. That's completely fine. Then she brings up damsel in distress, and and saying how prevalent it is. She acknowledges things are changing, but how many are... Oh, I know you guys hate when I do this. Are reskinned damsel in distress. Whatever the fuck that means. So she asked a question, how many are? Well, she left it at that. She didn't say anything. That's what she left it. She left it at. And then she gives a reference to it's either damsel in distress or girlfriend in the fridge. And I'm just thinking, oh gosh, all these tropes. But she said she's not going to call out any games. But there's a major problem with that. Why not call out any games? Huh? Let's see some examples. Give us some examples here. Are you afraid of, like, oh, you're gonna cause a big boycott? Are you afraid of people refuting your arguments? Or would you have to actually do research? Why not? Give us some games. She goes on to say that representation doesn't represent the entire scope of being a woman. Damn straight. I mean, why would you expect that? And it doesn't represent the entire scope of being a man. Like, are there characters that get morning wood? No. Are the women having to do something with their menstrual cycle going on? No. She mentions how women have children, healthy relationships, and how games need to represent them as women. Video games are escapism. Alright? Like, we play games because we don't want to think about the everyday aspects of our day-to-day life. Like, even The Sims. Even The Sims where you're playing, like, kind of the everyday life, you still have complete control over them, right? And you don't always have complete control over your own life, right? She then moves on. Well, she just kind of starts asking questions again. She's going, is it okay to be cool and be sexual and not be an object? This is a question. When okay to be sexy and when it is objectification. That was it. That was all the talking about that. Like, it was a question. When is it? Oh, okay, well they they're gonna be talking about when is the line, right? Right? No. This whole thing is, it's really vague. It's vague as fuck. That's the problem with this whole panel, as we'll see as we keep talking about it, is they don't go into like actual discussion about specific questions or topics. They just say statements and questions, then move on. And so then Try says that there's not enough variation. Pretty much all you see is sexy. And then Pink goes, there needs to be more effeminate guys. Guys are too big and hulky. Like, with muscles, apparently. We'll get back to that. So, as an example of the lack of professionalism with this whole panel, the mod then goes off on, like, talking about she's just, like, I don't want to use the term squealing, but she's talking about how great Joss Whedon is with his, a comic he's doing called Frey or something, or that's the character's name. I don't know, I don't like Joss Whedon. Oh wait, Joss Whedon is a man that is kind of known for doing like female character leads. Keep that in mind. And then Kat says in response that people go, but women have the right to be sexy in games. She says, right, but characters don't make decisions. Creators make decisions. And then there's a big clap. Let's give it up. Wow. What an insightful thing to say. Oh my gosh. Clap. She brings up lore. And how people say, well, the character has to dress this way because of her lore. Like, she lives in they live in a tropical climate, and she's tribal, and that character, but then she said, but you made the lore. It is something because you said it is, but it could be different. I guess she's saying that lore is crafted in a way to force characters to be dressed in a sexy outfit to sell to guys. Right? Now, she seems to be mostly talking about comic books during this panel, and most characters in comic books, they're old as fuck. These characters and their lore was set years and years, like, it was written years and years ago, and modern writers are basing it off of that. So what, do you want to throw away all that established lore? What? I mean, are you saying that these writers have to conform to you? Now here I'm setting questions and I go, oh god. And then Big then goes on to mention how she loves like character customization and there needs to be more of it, and she seems to be implying that it needs to be like for every game. It's almost like saying every book should be like a choose your own adventure book. Trident says, those characters can be strong and powerful, but aren't real women. They are created usually by men, usually with the male audience in mind. There's some more of those slippery words. Nothing definite. They are creation for men by men. Well, okay, that's not slippery, is it? That is a pretty strong statement. They aren't real people. There's another strong statement. And what I have to say, exactly, this statement, and this point, like, negates the whole panel. This negates everything Triad said, just negates the whole point of the panel. These aren't real people. Video game characters are not real people. So who cares if they fucking dress, or they're made to be dressed sexy? They're not real! I want an example of how men in like the same game can be dressed really differently. Okay. They're saying women are wearing all these chainmail bikinis, they're wearing skimpy little clothes, and how come they're supposed to be wearing the same armor, but on the male looks so different? Okay. So like, let's say Borderlands 2. There's one character, and he's like dressed pretty military-ish. Like, he's all set up, and he's all covered up, and he looks pretty damn professional. And then there's this other short little guy, and he's like, I think he's wearing suspenders and a tank top, and you know, he doesn't, I mean that's not like very there's no armor going on there. But those are two different male characters dressed totally differently. One is set for the occasion, like Kat was seemed to be trying to say about girls be dressed in skimpy, and then the other is well, they're not dressed so hot, for at least not like I would want to be dressed for gunfights with people. Alright, next is cosplay. And they kind of segue into the cosplay. The mod segues into the cosplay by talking about college humor video she did with another one of the panelists, where they played as a video game like team, playing paintball or something, and it was all women. There's cheering, there's arm raising, yeah, all women team. What if it was all men team? Would we be cheering? Woo! No, we'd be going, what the fuck? Why are there no women on there? So that's an interesting way to segue into cosplay. While Try is talking about a character's outfit, she brings up, once again, male designers. Designed by men, blah 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 blah. Broken fucking record she is. It really seems like she's saying that men can't do women. She's mentioned it before. Usually designed by men, for men. And then she brings it up again. And, hello. Okay, let's reverse this. What is a famous female writer that is known for writing, like a wonderful book that had a male lead? Let's see. J.K. Rowling. She wrote a book. A bunch of books. 7 of them. In fact, about Harry Potter. About a little boy growing up into manhood. And she did so wonderfully. So, a woman could write a book about a male, and do fantastic. And then there's also women that can't fucking write women at all. I'm trying to think of some more famous ones. Okay, well, Stephanie Meyer. She's not very good at character writing at all. How about Laura K. Hamilton? Yeah, she also writes a series of books, and she does a terrible fucking job. Moving on, Pink then says, characters that they cosplay, they are strong and kick-ass. They are role models. We cosplay to embody their empowerment. This is in response to, because they were talking about how the women that dress sexy as a character are not sluts. They are strong and kick ass to embody their empowerment, huh? Oh, strong, but objectified? No one really responds to that. Like, they're just like, I wouldn't bring this up. They're not disagreeing with each other. They're not discussing this. They're just, one says one thing, then one says another, and plus they really needed to narrow the scope of this panel, because they have just such a wide range of topics that they never really get down to the nitty gritty with any of them. And they talk about some comic artist or something about who was saying that these women that come to cons aren't real nerds or something. He said something stupid like that, and how guys just fall for it because a girl that's a 4 in real life is a 9 at a con or something. And she says it is insulting towards men. Wow, okay, so now you're defending a male audience, right? Even though you guys were just attacking male artists. And oh yeah, and when you were referring earlier to male audiences about how girl characters are made to be so sexy because they're appealing to a male audience. You were basically saying that men are just herder, we need the sexiness, but then you're defending them. Is that what's going on? Maybe. And then Try says, you guys are human beings too. But these artists that want to draw or write women these way aren't, or maybe the guys that do want to see sexiness everywhere aren't. I mean, what is the point here? What is going on? What is this thing? Why am I talking? Oh God. So the mod reads a tweet. Someone tweeted, "Aren't males exploited too because of their muscles?" And she mutters under her breath, "Typically designed by men." Kat takes this one and she talks about a false equivalency. And that male power fantasy and female fantasy are not the same thing. And I thought, okay, she's actually going to go into this, right? We're going to have a discussion, right? No, she starts talking about BioWare. She uses the BioWare FemShep voting thing as an example because it was a poll to pick who the official FemShep would be, right? And it was open to the whole internet instead of just to the 17% that use a FemShep. That's what she said. She said it was people were upset because the character was maybe more attractive, and they're saying it was because everyone could vote and all these guys just wanted her to be hot. I guess that's what she's saying. And then Big is talking about this like reversible cover for the game or something, and well, where the false equivalency at? I mean, why aren't they explaining it? Why aren't they going into this? Why are we talking about fucking BioWare? And then we keep talking about BioWare because Try then talks about how she was happy with the lack of different camera angles if you chose to play a woman, and like in a BioWare game they don't do like panning up her body or whatever, and it's the same fucking animation going on here. Like, are you really gonna write like all this additional shit just to get like paint up her butt or something? And she says like in the Mass Effect game she felt like she was really playing as me, not me, her, me. You know, I've never done that. Like, I've never went into a game that had customization and made it to be me. You know, I play me enough in real life. The mod then reads a tweet, "Why are there no males on the panel?" And then she says, "Because they're on all the other panels." Ooh! Oh, man! Oh, she got him! She got him! Whoa! She got him! She got him! Oh! Maybe there should have been a guy on the panel. Ever think of that? Let's get a male perspective going on. Let's make this not a woman's issue, but just a gamer, nerd, geek issue. I mean, it really, I think it would have been interesting. They decided to combine their last two topics together, which are weird because it's actually like 3 topics. It's booth babes, white knighting, and media, which apparently was 2. Like, white knighting and media was supposed to be 1. Okay. Big goes on about a Kotaku article, and she loves Kotaku, and fuck it. Fuck it! Moving on. Kat says white knighting is a derogatory term and it belittles male allies of the feminist movement. I've been wondering when we would hear that word. And then Try asks Kat, "What is your definition of white knighting?" And what does Kat say? "I don't know." She didn't say it like that. It was more like, "I don't know." Just a derogatory term, and as compliment evokes women needing a special guide. Okay, so she knows what a white knight is, but she can't give the definition. What? I don't know. She didn't even try. She just... And Try says it's talking on behalf of women. And she later says about white knighting that it is insidious. Okay, then Big says... Then Big gets down into this topic, and Big has something to say. And I commend Big for saying this. Men have a right to speak up, but there is such a backlash because you are now oppressing us, referring to women talking about their white knights, like they're saying, but you're oppressing us. Have a stake in this too for the representation in community. Right. So why not have one on the panel? Men have a stake too, but not on the panel. Alright, so I thought she was the only one that felt this way, right? Obviously, because... But then try claps. She's clapping. She's clapping. Even though she was just saying that white knights are talking on behalf of women. She then says, I guess she said, fuck it. I agree with this girl now. I don't know. What the fuck? And then she mentions Jezebel. Let's just move on to the booth babe discussion. Kat says, booth babes have created perception that all women that work for a booth, regardless if they're in bikini or polo, or just there to use their body. That's basically what she says. No. Okay, so let's talk about. Okay, you see a person in cosplay or a bikini, and you're thinking, okay, yeah, they're the ones that are there to pull people in with their looks, right? But the one in the polo, if you see a girl in the polo, are you really thinking, oh, she's just show off her titties? I mean, no, you don't. One in a polo dressed professionally is the one that has all the info. And she says she doesn't know a solution without restriction. Well, here's our recurring theme. We just say something and say we don't know the answer to it and then move on. Big talks about being a photographer of some cosplaying booth babes, and she was saying that some do feel objectified. These people that are professionally, being hired to cosplay, that are being booth babes, they're models. What do models do? They use their bodies and their looks to sell a product. That is their job. They're moving mannequins. She acknowledges that some do really like it. But she also thinks that if there is a female dressed up all skimpy, there better be a male next to him wearing a loincloth or the sort. And then there's a lot of clapping. Yeah, loincloth. Woo! Wow, ladies, stop objectifying men. Okay, so then Try reads out a tweet about sand in her vagina. It was obviously a troll tweet. And she says, it's not the sand that is painful, it's the misogyny. What is this referring to? Why'd she... Okay, what... Is she talking about misogyny in the tweet? Because that just sounded like an insult to me. That's not like, yo bitch, get down on here and massage my fucking feet. You may have been working for 15 fucking hours, but you gotta fucking do all this shit for me, give me my beer, go make my food, because that's what you're fucking good for. That's not the same as, what, you got sand in your vagina? So was she referring to that tweet, or was she referring to the topics they've been talking about? Because it kind of seems like she could be saying that the shit they've been talking about is misogyny. Then there's another tweet about, like, seeing more different body types, and Big, and she's like, yes, more body types. The media needs to adapt to all body types. And the mod brings up the character in Borderlands 2, Ellie, and how she's just comic relief and seen as a slob. And okay, what the fuck did they actually play this game? Ellie is she is an extremely confident. She's pretty funny, I guess, if you like her style of humor, and she's like strong. I mean, she runs a junkyard and she does all this work on cars. And you know what? Are they saying it because her character was like physically accurate of an obese person? I mean, why are they selling Ellie was just comic relief? I'm not seeing it. She didn't talk any more wackier than say some of the other characters. Like, there was nothing that said, ho ho ho, look at her because she's fat. Some more body types in video games. Like fat people, obese people on the battlefield. I could see now. Would they have a lower stamina bar? And okay, so then they move on to like audience questions and tweet, and an audience member, the first one, she brings up Xbox Live and how if she outs herself as a girl in multiplayer, no one will then resuscitate her. Well, that's little kids for you, and maybe it's not because of your gender. Maybe it's because you're really annoying. And then there's a tweet about, does objectification turn female gamers away? And Tri says, if it makes me uncomfortable, I won't buy it. Jeez, I really think that she probably wants, like, PC standards in video games. Ugh. Cat. She brings up Catwoman in Arkham City, the Batman game, and how she couldn't let her, like, idle because the stretch is, like... Because there's a guy over there that I want even though I'm at a rooftop and I'm completely alone. Alright, so I looked up Catwoman's idle stretch because this game is in my backlog and I haven't played it yet. And you know what it was? It was an arm stretch. That was it. Before that, she did some cleaning. That was it. Plus, let's remember, this is fucking Catwoman. And let's also remember, cat. The cats are always stretching, right? In a long, lean way. Cats are kind of seen as sensual animals. And the Big brings up a big nameless game. She didn't want to name it. Has a line with a mentor saying to the female pro tag, that was pretty good for a girl. That was her inflection. And that when the person said that, she put her controller down. You know what? With that inflection, if it was said like that in the game and with that line, it sounds like it was written in a way that the mentor was seen as bad for saying that, like, oh, I mean, what the fuck, dude? Like, it wasn't saying like, the developers were going, oh, okay, she's a pretty good character, don't you think, for a girl? No. It was saying that, like, oh, there's mentors kind of like, you know, either being playful, being an asshole. That's another one on my backlog. Okay, so, and then an audience, a blogger of, her website is Girl Game Vogue, asks how to be taken, like, seriously and how to deal in a man's world. The first step is don't have your gender in the name of your website. Don't need to bring it up all the time. There's no fucking reason. Tweet, is the new Tomb Raider stepping in the right direction? Big says, I wrote my thesis on the trailers and then I went and played it. What? And this is the game she was referring to earlier with the mentor. She says, the trailers are uncomfortable. There's a scene that sexualizes her that I'm really uncomfortable with. And apparently when her roommate saw it, she, left the room. She says, would they do that to Nathan Drake? No. Never would they have done a hair-sniffing arm touch. It was not okay for me. Let's remember what they were saying earlier. These characters are not real. So, why is this not okay? Is Lara Croft now damaged because she was sexually harassed or assaulted? Is that, like, a bad thing? Are they saying that you should feel shame? It's making it seem like they're saying it was, okay, the act itself, you know, that's bad. The fact that she was a survivor, you know, that is, you know, go girl. I feel like there's a lot of people that always complain about, you know, why is no one talking about this stuff? Why is no one talking about sexual harassment or sexual assault in different mediums, like on TV or in movies or music or whatever, in a very real way? And then this medium, these video games, they tackled it. They portrayed it. They showed, you know, how disgusting it is, and yeah, it should make you feel uncomfortable. It should make you feel uncomfortable seeing a guy manhandle a girl. And they're showing that, and yet they're being blasted for it. I mean, I applaud the devs of the new Tomb Raider for inserting that scene. And then Try says the advertisement was, look how hurt she gets. Okay, yeah, she does get hurt a lot. This is a prequel. She is new at this. She is not her normal kick-ass self, bang, 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 that can accomplish anything. She had to get there somehow. And having to go through all these trials and tribulations, all these problems, well, they helped her get there. I think it's making her an even more interesting character. It's strengthening her backstory, her personality, in my eyes. It was either an audience thing or a tweet, and it was like, why mention gender? Isn't that just creating more device? And the mod says, good point. And she talks about how she doesn't use geek and nerd in a genderized way. Like, she doesn't say geek girl or whatever like that. They're genderizing themselves with this panel. Okay, and then she says women take up more than half the world population. True. And more than half the gaming community. Not true. It's more like 47. Anyway, so, and then she says, and then she turns around and says, no, okay, it's okay to bring up your gender, or bring attention to your gender, since women aren't getting the attention, even though they take up half of whatever. Says one thing, says another. And then an audience member wants to know some like organizations or some tips on how to start one in her area to bring gamers together. And so, of course, Try is very helpful by bringing up the subreddit shit Reddit says. Why is she bringing this up? She's saying that they like are connected or linked to different communities on Reddit that could be safe places for women or people that aren't white or people that are different sexual orientation and genders. Wow, that is some good advice about how to start up a gaming group in your area. Go to shit Reddit says, apparently. So there's a tweet about what about girls that feel pressure to move away from interests to be accepted. What? Where's that happening? Who's doing that? What? This isn't a gender issue. This is like people feeling like they have to pretend to be someone else to be accepted issue. Guys and girls both do that. This is not a gender issue. The last thing they talk about is like, are things going in a positive direction? And then Big brings up, someone had brought up the Tomb Raider panel and how it was like mostly women. This was an audience member person. Might have been male too. Can't remember. And she says it's wonderful that it is female driven, the Tomb Raider panel, which was mostly women. They are still designing towards men, for men, largely. And that is the issue. Doesn't matter if you are a woman being asked to do that or a woman trying not to. Wow. Wowie, wow. Way to speak for them. If you're a woman being asked to, like, if you're betraying your own gender because some guy has asked you, making a game by women for men. Why? Because apparently she thinks that's the case. So that was You Game Like a Girl, Tales of Trolls and White Knights. It had very little to do with Trolls and White Knights. You know, I thought those would be the two topics. Nope.